So it's planting day. I am going to plant out all of these baby Asian greens, and these are going to go in the spare bed that used to be the onion bed, and then it was the spinach and lettuce bed, and now it's going to be the Asian green bed. So really excited to get these planted because they're looking beautiful. Definitely ready for planting now. And there's a mix here of komatsuma and red pak choi and tatsoi. Not much of the tatsoi germinated, unfortunately, which is why there's only 10 of those. But anyway, 10 tatsoi, that's better than nothing. And these will follow on from the Asian greens that are in the polytunnel, which are looking really lovely still. But, you know, I'm harvesting those pretty hard, knowing that I'm going to have these to replace them by the end of February. So yeah, really excited to get those in the ground. I'm also going to put one of my batches of calabrese in, because those plants are getting pretty big now. They don't want to stay in pots for any longer. Probably get a little bit stressed, and we don't want stressed calabrese because they might bolt and go to seed. So I'm going to put those in the bed that's currently got my youngest batch of miner's lettuce or claytonia in it. So that's starting to go to seed now, so I need to get that cleared and get that replanted. And I'm also going to clear my salad rocket bed, because that is also starting to go to seed. And I've got some baby leaf chard and stuff like that, which we've harvested through December, and I'm pretty much finished with that now. So I've got all those baby kales to go in. So quite an exciting planting day for me. And I'm also going to plant some of my field beans and broad beans and put those under fleece. So anyway, let's get on with the planting. So here's everything that I'm going to plant today. It's all nicely hardened off in the polytunnel. It's been pretty cold in here, down to -2, and obviously everything's fine in here. So it's used to that little bit colder weather, and I've had the door open as well, so I shouldn't mind now going into cold frames and low tunnels. I decided to start with this red stem pak choi and tatsoi. Taking the cold frame lid off, so I've got easy access to the back as well, because it's a bit of a reach otherwise. And I'm just going to pop these little tatsoi in at the ends of the bed, because I like everything to be symmetrical. And one nice thing about doing Asian greens at this time of year is there's less slugs about, at least the slugs aren't as active, and just as importantly, there's no flea beetle active either, so that makes for a much nicer crop. And then I'm going to do alternate rows of the red stem pak choi and the komatsuma. And actually, I normally do red stem pak choi 1 seedling per module, same with komatsuma, but because I want this primarily for baby greens and I want to be harvesting it as soon as possible, I've put 2 seedlings in, and I'm going to do this komatsuma again. I've just done 2 seedlings per module for baby leaf. I've had a cold frame top over this bed for quite a while actually, and so this ground, although it's nice and moist, is not wet at all, which means I can afford to put the cold frame top down completely over these and just give them a bit of protection for a week or so, and then I'll open the beds up like this after that, so that they get a bit of ventilation as well as a bit of extra protection. And I won't normally close these beds unless there's a really high wind or excessive cold, well below 0. Yeah. Hopefully you can see a really nice little root system on these. So I'll be really pleased to get the covers over these, because obviously it is only just early January. It's actually the 9th of January today, so not ideal planting weather, but it's, you know, it's as good as you're going to get at this time of year. Sunny, not too much wind, and yeah, they should be okay under cover. In fact, I was just reading a guide to sowing from a seed company saying, oh yeah, Asian greens, plant them out in May. Well, yeah, in May you'll have loads of flea beetle and loads of other alternative things to eat in May other than Asian greens, which will be suffering from slugs and holly leaves and probably going to seed on you really quickly. So I prefer late and early plantings, because this is when we really want them. So I've prepared this lettuce bed ready for planting next week. The lettuces aren't quite ready yet, so yeah, it's best not to rush it. Just close it up, keep the bed nice and dry and warm, and then I'm going to do this bed. So this bed's all my baby kales. I've got some of them here, so I've got a mix of Carvalho Nero, Pentland Brig, and yeah, dwarf green or reflex. So I'm putting them in 12 to a bed. I was thinking I might need these extra holes, but I won't now. So that looks a little bit better. Now obviously this is like way too close a spacing if you were going to leave these plants in here until spring, until summer. But actually, you know, these are nice little plants, got a good root system on them. They should get away really nicely, and you know, they should give me a harvest in spring, which is when I need them, because I don't have much kale in the ground, and they're going to get really close together by the time I take them out. But you know, that's fine. I don't mind them being close together, because that means lots of leaves. And so yeah, they're a bit floppy because they froze last night, but they should be okay. So I'm also just going to put these 2 wild rocket plants in. They've got a really nice root system on them. There's not much top growth at the moment, but they should really spring into life again. So yeah, I'll pop those in. Right, really happy with these. Need to get them covered up now, obviously. And I should say that this is an experiment. I've never done brassicas at this time of year before, from a November sowing. And the reason why I think it might be a good idea, why I'm trying it, is because I need a lot of kales in spring, but I don't really need a lot of kales in autumn and winter, because I've got so many red cabbages, I've got so many Brussels sprout leaves, I've got so many colettes and colette leaves. It's only as the colettes and the sprouts and the cabbages kind of finish that I need a lot of kales. So if I can get a lot of kales from a sowing now, sowing back in November, then that'd be great. So let's close this up. So now I'm going to do another experiment, which is trying out these little Savoy cabbages at this time of year. So I really like Savoy cabbages, but I don't tend to have enough space for them for a lot of the year. So what I want to try is to see whether I can get these in late spring, maybe early summer, and from again a November planting. So they look quite nice now. This is a variety that's designed to be grown early, but obviously not this early. This is Preludium. Yeah, and I tried this last year with the red cabbages, doing a September sowing, and for a harvest in late June. In June, all the way through June, and it worked great. So I don't normally have red cabbages until August, so it meant I get red cabbages 2 months early, and it's one of our favourite brassicas, so it was really nice to be able to do that. So we're trying to sort of do red cabbages early and late, and hopefully we'll be eating our red cabbages until March, and then I might even start taking some of the outer leaves off these Savoys, maybe this one in the middle for example, in March, so that I've got some, continue to eat some cabbages. And I've obviously got spring cabbages as well, but I'm not planting those out yet. So yeah, looking nice now. And as I mentioned before, I can't really grow cabbages on my allotment in summer because of the club root, but hopefully I'll be able to get this crop out without the club root really having a chance to take hold. And then the last bit of planting for today, I'm just going to pop this calabrese out. So I normally do my calabrese at this time again, partly because of the club root, partly because it's just great to have calabrese in May, but also just because the timing just works so nicely. I've just finished harvesting this bed, took Claytonia out of this bed, and calabrese will grow, and then melons will go in June. So I like to keep a tight ship. I like to make sure that I've always got something in the ground. I like to get 3, often 4 successions out of the beds each year, and it's a lot of fun. So it won't be long before all these beds and this one here are planted up with calabrese and cauliflowers. Right now there's spinach in these 2 beds and there's spinach in this bed, so what I'll be doing is just taking 5 spinach plants out, putting 5 calabrese in and taking 5 spinach out of those. But I'll probably do that towards the end of January or early February. I don't want all of the calabrese and cauliflowers obviously to come at the same time. And then these are cauliflowers that I put out back in December sometime, and they've grown really well even through December and early January. Put on almost double the size that they were when they were in the pots. So I'm pretty pleased with things so far. And I've also got some of my early red cabbages and early Brussels sprouts in there as well. So you can find loads more about all these different successions and how all the growing guides and all that sort of thing in my ebook. But better than that, I think now, is that I've got a newsletter that comes out every week, and it basically steps you through all the different things that you could consider doing in each month, as well as all the sort of normal sort of allotment management tasks and things like that, as well as all the sort of pests and disease issues and things like that as they crop up through the year. And I've just started actually in the newsletter sort of breaking it down in terms of the sorts of things you'd be doing in a small garden, the sorts of things you'd be doing in a larger garden, and the sorts of things you'd be doing if you can sort of grow under cover. So that makes it a little bit more relevant to more people. Anyway, my name's Steve. This is the Seaside Kitchen Garden and Allotment channel, and I'll see you soon.